Hi there. This is the second part for the 13th lecture on Life and Destiny stage presented by Sumiyo Umekawa with my old picture. This is the first recital for my daughter. She played two solos and one duo with me. I think we did I or something. This second part, in which we will examine the thoughts observed in Sangai Ishinki, I will give you 10 examples or quotations directly from the article Sangai Ishinki. For some, I add other examples for deeper understandings or the comparisons. So here comes the first instance. The text says, since three ways of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism unified as one, we call this the unification of three wisdoms. So, in Sangai Ishinki, three teachings indicate Confucianism, Buddhism, and something called Do. As you will see later, Do usually indicates Shintoism here, although we have some other teachings of collective sorts called Brabra-Do. So this is a second instance. Although the full sentences are too complicated and unknowing, I cut off the most parts. But it says, in Ijin, it is named as 1E. In Shintoism, in Buddhism, in Tendai, in Kegon and Hosso, in Shingon, and etc. The point is this, in this particular text, one thing is explained from various different approaches to show even though the rendition is different, it specifies the same thing. Roughly, the article refers to Chinese ideologies, Japanese ideologies, and Buddhist ideologies. And so far as I have noticed, they include the idea of Book of Change, way of calendar, Confucianism, medical tradition, Taoism, Lao Tzu, and Chuanzi as Chinese ideologies. As for Japanese ideologies, they include Shintoism, of course, although they sometimes mention the conceptual differences in accordance with the difference of Shinto branches. Also, something called Tengudo is often mentioned as Japanese ideology, which might indicate Shugendo of today. As for Buddhism, it basically refers to branches of so-called Kamakura New Buddhism, though Kegon and Hosso are very often mentioned from so-called six branches of Southern capitals. So here comes the third instance. It says, or it is said, the character Mei is considered of Jitsu, meaning yan, as well as a father, and Getsu, meaning in and a mother. The character Shin can be created if you put the sun and to deliver, or which should be to rent to deliver the sun. Mei indicates the sun and the moon. Shin indicates delivering the sun. So here, nichi de umareru in Japanese part indicates the order of the rendition of Chinese characters. It should be read umareru first. This part explains the true or real meaning of Chinese character mei or akarui, as well as shin or hoshi by dividing the parts of each character. Actually, this is very similar to the method called name naturally indicate the nature of itself, which is the method of Ming school during its spring and autumn period. Differently from the original Chinese method, Japanese explain the meaning of each part of the character in order to specify the nature of the Chinese character. The first example says, Jin is a place where a destiny of a wife and husband will be settled. For this particular phrase, the text added some explanations. It goes, the light and pure Qin will go up to become the sky. It is the Qin of wood and fire, the bodhisattva of the ray of the sun. Qian, male, yang. The heavy and muddy Qin will fall to become the earth. It is the Qin of gold and water, the bodhisattva of the ray of the moon. Kun, female, in. As you might have noticed, the division between pure and light Qin and that of heavy and muddy comes from Chinese concept of qi. And that to regard the former goes up to the sky, whereas the latter falls onto the earth, might have been related with the idea of Hun and Po, spirits. It should be noted, however, here two different types of qi called qin are also explained in terms of 5 phases: wood, fire, gold, and water, excluding earth. They are qualified as Buddhist deities as well and linked with trigrams of the Book of Change. The connection of qi with Buddhist deity is, so far as I reckon, never be seen in Chinese articles. Similarly, I haven't come across any Chinese article explaining qi by 5 phases and trigrams. 5 phases and trigrams are, of course, situations of qi, so they are explained by the concept of qi, but not vice versa. Therefore, this phrase is quite unique. So the 5th instance goes, at this point, Izanaki no Mikoto said, "I'm happy to have a hole," for the first time. Izanami no Mikoto said, "My hole is feeling good." These are the beginning of the Japanese language, as well as the first ever wife and husband. And this particular phrase always makes me laugh. Here we can see wordplay like "ana ureshiya," which indicate "I'm very happy" in ancient Japanese, though the adjective "ana" here also indicates the female vagina. Moreover, the article asserts these words of sexual pleasure were the first ever Japanese language. What is more, as I said, this article was used as a text for children to read aloud. So whenever I imagine many children at temple read out, "My hole is feeling good," these are the beginning of Japanese language, I can't really stop laughing. The 6th one shows the idea of hongaku. It goes, Monku Sohitsu said, "The heaven, the earth, and I have the same root. Everything, including me, are in continuity. I am a Buddha. The sun and the moon are my eyes. The wind is my breath, and oceans and mountains are my body." Here we can clearly see the idea of oneself as a Buddha, as well as the concept to regard oneself unified with the universe. はい、6つ目の例ですが、これはもう完全に本学思想を踏襲しているものです。宗筆法師曰く、天地と我と同根なり、万物我を兼ねて一体なり、俺仏、日月は眼、風は息、海山ともに我が身なりけり、最後のところは和歌になっている形です。で、ここでその自身が仏であるという、本学思想とともに、この自分自身がその大自然、ないしは宇宙と一体になっているんだというような意識がここには現れています。The 7th instance shows the mixture of the unification of ideas of Buddhism, Confucianism, represented by the Book of Change, and Taoism. It says, "Qi from a father and a mother are mixed up to make one drop of water, which comes down to mother's womb and become a child after 10 months. It is also said, 2 qi of Ken and Kon are mixed up and feel each other to deliver 6 children. These are also called magical talisman of 72 ways to settle the house." The first part explaining the qi from the parents unified into one drop of water should have come from Buddhist idea of human generation. We have come across the words drops of father and mother many times in Buddhist articles. If it were Chinese classics, they should not involve water or drop, but use more abstract terms like the third, the elixir, or one qi. Whereas in the middle part we see the idea of Book of Change. But at the end, it includes Taoist ideologies. The talisman mentioned in the article is one of the famous one in Chinese Taoism of Heavenly Master's stream. Now, let me explain the Book of Change part. The text says Qian and Kun deliver 6 children. 6 children indicate 6 out of 8 basic trigrams in the Book of Change. Trigrams would have increased the number up to 64, but the basic ones are 8. All of them come from either Qian trigram or Kun trigram. The trigram is basically consisted of 3 lines, either continual or the divided. The continual line indicates yang, whereas the divided line does yin. As Qian is consisted of 3 continual yang lines, it is regarded as a father. And when we see these 3 lines, we should start counting from the bottom. And Zhan has a continual yang line at this first place at the bottom, which is why this particular trigram is regarded as the first sun. Similarly, in the Kan trigram, we can find the continual yang line in the middle place. If we start counting from the bottom, the middle should be counted as second. Therefore, Kan is regarded as a second sun. Thus, Gen, which has yang at the top, which actually indicates the third place, is regarded as a third sun. Kun consisted of divided yin lines, therefore regarded as mother. Shun with divided yin line in the first bottom place, therefore it is regarded as a first daughter. Li with yin in the second place, therefore it is regarded as a second daughter. And finally, Dui with divided yin line at the third top place, therefore it is regarded as a third daughter. Okay, let's move on to the 8th example, which goes as Izanagi is Yan, a male and a father. He is a Mahavairochana of the Vajradhats. Izanami is In, a female and a mother. She is a Mahavairochana of Garbha Kosha. Izanagi is the inversed sphere of the sky. Izanami is the blue ocean. A drop from the sphere, dropped when the sphere gets down to mingle, is Aphodon, the energy of a father. Here we see the mixture of Shintoistic myth and Buddhist ideology. Izanagi, Izanami, the inversed sphere, as well as the blue ocean come from Shintoistic mythology, whereas Buddhist deities and the term Aphodon, of which Sanskrit I couldn't find, do from Buddhism. The logic of this particular quotation is as follows. The inversed sphere indicates male genitalia, namely the penis. Therefore, the sphere gets down to mingle indicates the repeated insertion and extraction of the penis, more frankly to say, the movement of piston. Thus, Aphodon, the drop falling down from the sphere, means semen. Similarly, the blue ocean here specifies female genitalia, namely the vagina. And although we don't see the word Kararang here, if Aphodon was regarded as male semen, Kararang should refer to the female secretion or menstrual blood, as the Aphodon and Kararan, or Karara, are the Buddhist terms usually used in a couplet. So let's check some Buddhist usage of these two words. In Mahavibhasha, we see the sentences as follows. Those who claim that the nature of thing would change say Kararan turns into Afudun. Those who claim coming and going say Kararan is inside Afudun. Here, Afudun and Kararan are not related with human reproduction, but something more philosophical. Yet, in Mahaprajna Paramita Shastra, Kararan or Karara is explained as the embryo of 7 days after the insemination. Indeed, the sutra says it is when the red and white energies or the Jin will be harmonized to become into one thing. Whereas Afudon or Ahuda is regarded as an embryo 14 days after the insemination when it becomes like a cocoon. Here, two words are clearly linked with human reproduction, and Sangai Isshinki seemingly adapts these words in this particular understandings. Okay, ninth example say, when you write ise in Chinese characters, you write a power of circle to deliver a man peacefully. Here we see the ise shrine was somehow linked with the safe delivery, as well as a method similar to Chinese method of min school is again adapted to make explanation. This particular method was apparently quite popular during the Edo period because we see quite the same content with same explanation in other Oraimono text, especially for girls, Onna Choho Ki. It says, for the case in which a child won't be delivered smoothly, write the characters ise on the paper, pray for it, and let the pregnant drink the paper with water. Then a child will be delivered immediately. If we crush the combination of ise into pieces, it can be rendered as the birth of man is circular my power, which is the reason why it has divine power to let a child be delivered. Okay, the final instance says, red flesh is made of secretion from a mother, whereas white borns of that from a father. These secretions become like a jellyfish when they are unified. We call it as the feature of one destiny. For instance, a child stays in the chest of a mother with no feelings, no mind, and no emotions, which is the inner proof for its Buddhahood with the present body. Here, we see clearly the idea of a child as Buddhahood with the present body, and also the parental sexual practice was a foundation for delivering the Buddhahood as a child. The former idea comes from the idea of Hongaku, whereas the latter from Tachikawaism. So this is the end of the second part for the 13th lecture, which was a bit too long. Sorry about this. So see you in the final third part movie again.